Stubborn belly fat. You've tried cutting out carbohydrates, carnivore, keto, removing all your favourite foods, lots and lots of cardio, but for some reason, the fat at the bottom of your belly and your love handles, it just will not shift. What if I told you though your fat may not be that stubborn, you're just neglecting 3 key areas? Now if you are new to the channel, my name is Adrian McDonald, I'm a full-time online fitness coach and we specialise in helping busy working professionals do what this video is about, lose that stubborn belly fat. Before we go into the 3 key areas, first of all, how are you defining stubborn? Let's just define terms here now. For example, when I competed in men's physique, I had stubborn belly fat, okay? And the reason it was stubborn was because it's the last place that I lose it, but it was also the first place I gained it back. Through time, effort and consistency, eventually that lower stubborn belly fat went. On the flip side though, here's one of my online clients, Aiden. Did he have a stubborn belly fat issue, or was he just not being consistent? He just wasn't being consistent. He was not eating the right foods, not doing the right form of training, socializing, drinking alcohol too much. And it was just from that alone that his fat wasn't really stubborn, his routine was just not on point. True stubborn fat is where you're already relatively lean, but you're just fighting for those final few percentages. A lot of people though, unfortunately, maybe you might know them very, very well, they think they've stubborn fat, but they're just not consistent enough. So 3 key areas we need to address to lose that stubborn fat for good are: number 1, your alcohol intake. Look, I get it, there's a social component to drinking alcohol. I used to drink quite a lot from the age of 18 to 25, as often as 3 times a week. And I get it, I was relatively lean, but I still had a lot of lower belly fat and also my love handles too. But here's what most people don't realise about alcohol. When you drink alcohol, your liver focuses on detoxifying and getting rid of the alcohol rather than prioritising fat loss. So those empty weekend calories you're consuming, okay, they may not be fully out of your system until Monday, which is going to slow down your progress. So I'm not saying you have to reduce or eliminate alcohol, but you have to be honest with yourself. How often are you drinking alcohol? How many units per week? Because if you're having, let's just say in one beer there's 200 calories, okay? I don't know many men who go to the pub and just have 1 or 2 beers. It's at least 5. That's 1,000 calories. If you're doing that twice a week, that's 2,000 extra calories per week, okay? Over the course of a month, that's 8,000 calories. That's 2 pounds of extra fat gain. So you have to be honest with yourself. And if that's not something you're willing to do, that is completely fine. You do you. But if you do have a goal to getting a flat stomach and finally losing that stubborn belly fat, there is a trade-off. And in my opinion, it's very, very hard to get there if you're drinking alcohol consistently. So limit it to 1 or 2 times a week for 1 to 2 servings. Now, question number 2 is, are you in a calorie deficit? Most guys think they're in a calorie deficit when in reality they're not. Or they're in too much of an extreme calorie deficit where they lose weight way too quickly. They crash diet, they slow down their metabolism, and they regain the weight 3 to 6 months on from now. So first of all, if you're eating healthy but you're not losing fat, are you tracking everything, okay? The handful of nuts you have in between your snacks, finishing off your child's dinner, the butter that you put in your bread, the salads, the sauce that you get on the side. All of these calories do add up. Next up is, are your portions on point? Are you just eating too much, okay? Do you have the finish the plate mentality that you must finish everything you eat? Are you cooking all of your food, or are you eating out way too frequently? Because here's the thing, the 400 calorie steak you cook at home could be an 800 calorie steak you get in a restaurant because you're not accounting for the added oils, the added butter. Okay, all of these things matter. And finally, are you actually being consistent, or are you a weekend warrior? For example, do you eat healthy Monday to Friday but then burn your paycheck of the weekend? You go out, you get a takeaway, you have a cheat day or a cheat meal, and you don't account for all of those extra calories you're consuming. So you have to be honest with yourself. Are you snacking too much? Are you actually tracking your calories? Are your portions on point? Are you eating out too often? And are you a weekend warrior? Because if you're eating healthy but you're not losing weight, it's like you're making at least one of those 5 mistakes. Now, if you are in a calorie deficit, is it a sustainable one? So for example, one of my mates, he's only consuming 1,500 calories. He lost 8 pounds in 2 weeks. The problem is though, he's also lost muscle mass and not just body fat. That is not a sustainable calorie deficit, okay? So if you want to lose weight without losing muscle mass, you have to make sure your calorie deficit is sustainable. Generally, I recommend a 20% reduction from your maintenance calories. But also then, some key pointers, is it a protein modified calorie deficit? In other words, are you eating an adequate amount of protein to maintain muscle mass while you drop your body fat? Are you getting all of the right macronutrients in, or are you removing food or food groups? For example, a lot of people, what they do is they cut their carbohydrates, but as a result of this, their workouts completely suffer. And this can be a hard concept to grasp, but honestly, sometimes faster is not always better. We like to implement the 10% rule of Mac Lifestyle Fitness, which is in the first 90 days, we don't want to lose any more than 10% of your total body weight. This is what we have found is a really good target to set for yourself for the next 3 months, that you want to lose this amount of weight, which is optimal enough to lose body fat without losing muscle mass. Now, other things that are going to help create a calorie deficit are 90-10 jerk rule. What is that? Just eat real freaking food, okay? If you have more single ingredient whole foods, have a source of protein and a plant at every single meal, and you cycle your carbohydrates around your workout, they are 3 really effective strategies to lose a stubborn belly fat. And finally, question number 3 is, are you working out or are you training? So a lot of guys, they think that they're training, but they're actually working out. Number 1, they're just doing lots and lots of cardio. They go for a run on the treadmill, they do a lot of bike work, they might go to classes, boot camps, and so on. The problem with these approaches are they're actually emphasizing more so calorie burning rather than muscle building. Sure, you might get a sweat on, but the problem is you're not building muscle. So are you exercising or are you training? Are you doing too much cardio? Number 2, another common mistake men make are just not doing any exercise at all. You think that diet alone will get you there. Being in a calorie deficit for sure will help you drop fat, but I don't think you want to turn out to be skinny fat, where you've got skinny arms, you've got too much belly fat, and you've no muscle tone at all. That is why you need to do some form of progressive strength training. And then the third, and probably the most common mistake some of our business owners and corporate clients make are they just train inconsistently. So some weeks it could be 4, some weeks it could be 2, and they basically train based on how they feel. You need to schedule your workouts like you schedule your business meetings. When it's in the calendar, it must get done. So based on your current body fat percentage, here's my recommendation. If you are over 20% body fat, your weekly formula, it's very, very simple. Let's just give me 3 progressive strength trainings per week at least, and walk at least 8,000 steps a day. Feel free to add in cardio, it's optional but not essential. If you are below 20% and probably in that 15% range, here's what you want to be doing. At least 3, but ideally 4 progressive strength sessions. Continue to walk 8 to 10,000 steps a day, and you want to be adding at least 2 or 3 cardio sessions in. In either of those situations, you're only looking at a total of about 4 hours or so a week of progressive strength training. But if you're actually following a plan, you're training, you're not working out, you can get remarkable results. Now, some principles we implement with our clients when it comes to training is, first of all, we focus and we emphasize on compound lifts, okay? They will help give you full bang for your buck in a limited amount of time. We train our accessory movements at or close to failure. We focus on progressive overload, where we're gradually increasing the weight and the load over time. And then also, we do not do bodybuilding bro splits. We train each body part at least twice a week. So here's how you can combine these 3 areas all in one. First of all, the first 2 weeks are what we call the audit phase, okay? Just track everything you eat, keep account of your sleep, your energy levels, how you're doing in the gym, and your overall performance. From there, we can go with our implementation phase for the first month. So reduce your alcohol intake, okay? Account for all the food that you're eating and start tracking your calories. Work out at least 3 times a week and walk at least 8,000 steps a day. For the second one, we go through the consistency phase. Can we continue to reduce our alcohol intake? Can we follow the 90-10 jerk rule, okay, and start eating more single ingredient whole foods? Can we add more load to the bar and just gradually progressively improve with our training? And most importantly, can we just stay consistent at this? And then for the third month, we can go through the refinement phase. We can make outcome-based decision. If you're not losing weight fast enough, we need to address the calories. If you're not seeing progress quick enough, okay, we need to look at your food quality. If we're not seeing enough muscle tone, we need to really dial in the progressive overload. And if you're still not getting leaner, maybe we need to increase your steps. But it all starts there, okay? So 3 areas to audit are your alcohol intake, your caloric deficit, your food quality, and then also your training. Are you training or are you working out? And honestly, if you just be honest with yourself and just have a good sit down and think about it, you probably know already what some of your blind spots are, okay? And it's just implementing it then. Look, I know change at the start is tough, but honestly, which would you prefer? Would you rather just be stuck in the same situation 1 year, 2 years on from now, wishing that you didn't implement it, or do you want to take some short-term pain? Okay, remove or reduce some of the alcohol intake. Start actually counting your calories. It only takes 5 minutes a day. Get to the gym more often, and I promise you, if you do those 3 things consistently, you will not recognize yourself 1 year on from now. The biggest mistake I see business owners and corporate professionals make are trying to hack their way to success. They go for a short-term quick fix, hoping they see results in the first 4 weeks. When they get a bit deflated, they just resort back to their old ways and repeat the cycle again and again. But remember, fitness is an infinite, not a finite game. The goal of this game is to keep on playing. You don't ever win at the game of fitness. And if you truly enjoy the process, set yourself some big ass goals and you stay consistent with it, okay? You can build an impressive physique that you're proud of, that you feel confident in your clothes in, that you can actually sustain and maintain long term. Now, if you found this video helpful, please make sure you hit the follow. If you're listening to this on Spotify and my podcast, make sure you subscribe. And if you want help with one-to-one customized coaching, so all these three pillars are combined, you can DM me or message me on Instagram, Adrian_MacLifestyleFitness, or simply click the link in the description to schedule a call with me and we can see if you're a good fit for a coaching. That's all for this video, for this episode. We'll catch you in the next one.